mirror on the wall, who's the saddest one of all? Linda was never the good witch. Gossiping, spreading rumors will be your downfall. She threw her into the dead ditch. Jealousy makes you lose everything, that's the cost. How about you just stay in the land of the lost? Besties with the witch of the west. Hate on us, but you're still obsessed. Getting me to be the big bad villain, babe, go get a psychoanalysis. Because I know I'm one in a million, but it's fine, I'll be your protagonist. You're talking too much, we can all hear your whispers. Calling us wicked is a little insulting. You gave them to her, but you can keep the rest with birds. Thought you were a girl's girl, but that's just disgusting. You can call me the bad witch, but I'm not the snitch. So tell me which is which? Which is which? Which is which is which? Mirror on the wall, who's the saddest one of all? Glenda was never the good witch. Gossip and spreading rumors will be your downfall. She threw her into the dead ditch. Jealousy makes you lose everything, that's the cost. How about you just stay in the land of the lost? Besties with the witch of the west. Hate on us, but you're still obsessed. Hating me to be the big bad villain, babe, go get a psychoanalysis. Because I know I'm one in a million, but it's fine, I'll be your protagonist.
Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every life when the winds of difficulty blow stronger than ever before. Seasons of hardship can leave us feeling lost, weary and isolated, questioning the very purpose of our existence. Perhaps you find yourself in such a time right now, where each day seems heavier than the last, where the light at the end of the tunnel is dim, or maybe it's disappeared altogether. These difficult seasons, though painful, are not meaningless. They are part of the journey that shapes us, teaching lessons we may not want but deeply need. They strip away our illusions, and though it feels like we are being broken, we are in fact being remade. It is during these moments that we must dig deep and remember that no season, no matter how long, lasts forever. Today, let us delve into what it means to endure a difficult season, to find purpose in the pain, and to carry on, even when every fiber of our being wants to give up. It's not merely about surviving, but about growing, learning, and ultimately emerging stronger. Embrace the struggle as part of your story. It's easy in times of difficulty to want to flee from the struggle, to look for ways to escape or suppress the pain. Yet to flee from the struggle is to deny a crucial part of your story. Every challenge we face, every moment of discomfort, adds a new chapter to the book of our lives. It's not always a chapter we would choose to write, but one that offers unique insights that cannot be found elsewhere. To embrace the struggle is not to welcome suffering for its own sake, but to acknowledge that there is meaning even in the darkest of seasons. When you understand that hardship is part of the human condition, you can accept it not as an anomaly, but as something inevitable, and with that acceptance comes a different kind of strength. When we look back on the difficulties we've endured, we often see them as turning points, moments that, while painful at the time, ultimately shaped us for the better. But this realization only comes with the benefit of hindsight. During the struggle, it's easy to lose sight of the fact that this chapter too will pass. The night may seem endless, but the dawn always comes, even if it is slow to rise. Embracing the struggle means allowing yourself to fully experience the hardship without being consumed by it. It means understanding that this season, difficult though it may be, will one day be just another story in your journey, one that you survived, and one that taught you lessons no other experience could. The most transformative stories are not the ones free from conflict, but those in which the protagonist overcomes great odds. It's in facing adversity that our character is shaped. The easy seasons of life, while pleasant, do little to build resilience. It's in the storm that we discover what we are truly made of, and it's in surviving that storm that we become stronger. So rather than seeking to avoid the struggle, Consider how it can become an integral part of your story, one that defines not your limitations, but your capacity to grow and adapt. There's an art to embracing struggle without letting it consume you. It involves a delicate balance between acknowledging the pain and holding on to the hope that things will improve. It's about recognizing that, while this difficult season is part of your story, it is not the entirety of it. There are chapters yet to be written, chapters that may carry more joy, more peace, and more clarity. But first, you must endure this one. So in this moment, as you face your own trials, I encourage you to see them not as obstacles to your story, but as essential parts of it. These are the moments that will define your growth. And though it may be hard to believe now, one day you will look back on this season with a deeper understanding of its purpose. The weight of suffering can lead to deeper understanding. Suffering is often seen as an unwelcome guest, an experience that we wish to avoid at all costs. Yet suffering, in its most profound form, has the capacity to lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves, the world, and our place within it. There is something about the weight of hardship that strips away the superfluous layers of life, forcing us to confront what truly matters. It's during these times that we begin to question our values, our priorities, and even our beliefs. What once seemed important may lose its significance, and what we once overlooked may take on new meaning. Suffering, then, is not just a burden, but also a teacher. When life is easy, we often move through it with a certain degree of superficiality. We focus on the day-to-day, the tasks at hand, and the pleasures that come with comfort and stability. But when hardship strikes, those distractions fall away, and we are left with the raw reality of existence. It is in this rawness that we are given the opportunity to see things more clearly. Our understanding of ourselves deepens as we are forced to confront our fears, our weaknesses, and our limitations. And in doing so, we also discover new strengths that we may not have known we possessed had we not been tested. This process of deepened understanding is rarely immediate. It takes time, and it requires a willingness to sit with the discomfort rather than run from it. But if we are able to do so, we may find that the very thing that once seemed unbearable becomes the source of our greatest growth. Suffering has a way of refining us, of stripping away the illusions we hold about ourselves and the world. It forces us to confront the truth, however painful that truth may be. And in confronting that truth, we gain a deeper understanding not only of ourselves, but of the human condition as a whole. There is a certain wisdom that comes from suffering, a wisdom that cannot be gained through comfort or ease. This wisdom allows us to approach life with greater empathy, greater patience, and greater resilience. We begin to see that suffering is not something to be feared or avoided, but something that can be endured and ultimately overcome. And in overcoming it, we are transformed. The weight of suffering may feel unbearable at times, but it is this very weight that has the potential to lead us to a deeper, more profound understanding of life itself. Ending purpose in pain. Pain, by its very nature, is something we instinctively seek to avoid. It is uncomfortable, unsettling, and often feels purposeless. However, when we shift our perspective, we can begin to see pain not merely as a force to be resisted, but as something that can hold meaning. The idea of finding purpose in pain is not about glorifying suffering, but about recognizing that even in the most difficult moments, there is potential for growth, learning, and transformation. Pain, in its deepest form, can reveal truths about ourselves and our circumstances that we may not have otherwise noticed. In times of pain, we are often more attuned to the world around us. Our senses are heightened and our emotions are raw. It is in this state of vulnerability that we are more open to reflection, more willing to ask difficult questions, and more inclined to search for deeper meaning. What is this pain trying to teach me? What can I learn from this experience that I can carry forward? These are the kinds of questions that, if we allow ourselves to ask them, can lead to a sense of purpose even in the midst of hardship. Finding purpose in pain requires a willingness to sit with discomfort, to face the feelings we may have otherwise buried or ignored. It is not an easy task, and it is not one that comes with immediate answers. But as we begin to explore the deeper layers of our pain, we may start to see patterns emerge, patterns that reveal the ways in which our struggles have shaped us, the lessons they have taught us, and the ways in which they have prepared us for future challenges. In this way, pain becomes not just a source of suffering, but also a source of wisdom. There is also a communal aspect to finding purpose in pain. When we share our struggles with others, we not only lighten our own burden, but also offer comfort to those who may be going through similar experiences. Pain, when acknowledged and shared, has the power to connect us to others in profound ways. It reminds us that we are not alone in our suffering, and that, even in our darkest moments, there is the potential for empathy, compassion, and understanding. Ultimately, finding purpose in pain is about recognizing that, while we may not always be able to control the circumstances that bring us pain, we can choose how we respond to it. We can choose to let it define us, or we can choose to let it refine us. The choice is ours, and in that choice lies the possibility for profound transformation. The role of faith in difficult seasons. Faith, in its many forms, often plays a central role in how we navigate difficult seasons. Whether it is faith in a higher power, faith in ourselves, or faith in the process of life, this sense of belief offers a guiding light when the path ahead is obscured. During times of hardship, faith becomes more than just a concept, it becomes a lifeline. It is what allows us to keep moving forward when every instinct tells us to give up. Faith reminds us that no matter how difficult the present moment may be, there is a larger picture at play, one that we may not fully understand, but one that we are an integral part of nonetheless. In difficult seasons, it can be tempting to question our faith. We may wonder why we are being tested, why we must endure such hardship, or whether there is any meaning in our suffering at all. These are natural questions, and they are ones that many people wrestle with in times of trial. However, faith is not about having all the answers. It is about trusting that there is a purpose even in the absence of clarity. It is about believing that no matter how dark things may seem, there is always the possibility for light. Faith does not eliminate pain, but it can offer us a sense of peace in the midst of it. It reminds us that we are not alone in our struggles, and that there is a force greater than ourselves at work in the world. This sense of connection, whether to a higher power, to others, or to the broader tapestry of life, can help us find meaning in our suffering. It allows us to see our difficulties not as random occurrences, but as part of a larger plan, one that we may not fully understand, but one that is nonetheless unfolding exactly as it should. There is also a certain humility that comes with faith. It requires us to acknowledge that we do not have all the answers, that we are not in control of everything, and that there are forces beyond our understanding that shape our lives. This humility can be difficult to embrace, especially in a world that values certainty and control. But in letting go of the need to have all the answers, we open ourselves up to a different kind of strength, one that is rooted not in certainty but in trust. In the end, faith is what allows us to keep moving forward even when the road ahead is unclear. It is what gives us the strength to endure difficult seasons, not because we know exactly how things will turn out, but because we trust that, no matter what, we will emerge stronger on the other side. The importance of resilience. Resilience is often spoken of as a key trait for navigating difficult seasons, but what does it truly mean to be resilient? At its core, resilience is not about avoiding hardship, but about finding the strength to endure it. It is about bending without breaking, about adapting to challenges without losing sight of who we are or what we stand for. Resilience is the ability to keep going even when every step feels like a struggle. It is what allows us to rise again after we have been knocked down. and it is what gives us the courage to face the future with hope, even when the present seems overwhelming. Resilience is not something we are born with it's something we develop over time. Every challenge we face, every setback we endure, helps to build our capacity for resilience. It is in the act of surviving hardship that we learn what we are truly capable of. Resilience is not about never feeling pain or never experiencing failure. It is about how we respond to those experiences. It is about choosing to keep moving forward, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. One of the keys to developing resilience is learning to shift our perspective on hardship. Rather than seeing it as something to be feared or avoided, we can begin to see it as an opportunity for growth. This does not mean that we should seek out difficulty or that we should minimize the pain of our experiences. But it does mean that we can choose to see our challenges as opportunities to learn more about ourselves, to develop new strengths, and to become more adaptable in the face of adversity. Resilience also requires a certain degree of self-compassion. It is easy to be hard on ourselves when we are struggling, to feel as though we should be able to handle things better, or that we are somehow failing if we are not able to navigate hardship with ease. But resilience is not about being perfect, it is about being persistent. It is about recognizing that we are doing the best we can in a difficult situation and that sometimes just surviving is enough. By being kind to ourselves in difficult times, we allow ourselves the space to grow stronger. Ultimately, resilience is about hope. It is about believing that no matter how difficult things may be in the present moment, there is always the possibility for change. It is about trusting that we have the strength to endure hardship and that with time we will emerge on the other side, not only having survived, but having grown. The inevitability of hardship. Difficult seasons are as certain as the cycles of nature. We cannot escape them, and neither should we. To expect life to be a smooth journey, free from pain or obstacles, is to misunderstand the very fabric of existence. Just as the earth has its seasons, spring for growth, summer for flourishing, autumn for harvest, and winter for rest, so do we have seasons that define the rhythm of our lives. Hardship, in many ways, is the winter of the soul. It strips away the non-essential, exposing what is fragile and forcing us to confront what we often overlook in easier times. The stark reality of a difficult season can seem overwhelming, but it is this very stripping away that is necessary for renewal. We are so often tempted to flee from hardship, to deny its presence, or to pretend that it doesn't affect us. But the truth is, we cannot escape it. The sooner we acknowledge that difficult times are an inescapable part of life, the sooner we can begin to work through them instead of being paralyzed by them. To resist suffering is to prolong it, to embrace it is to begin the process of healing and growth. There is wisdom in understanding that we are not alone in facing difficulties. Every human being, no matter how strong or successful they may appear, has walked through their own winters. These shared experiences of hardship can unite us, reminding us of our common humanity. But more than that, they remind us of the impermanence of hardship. Winter, though cold and dark, is always followed by spring, and so it is with the seasons of our lives. Difficult times will pass, but only if we allow ourselves to move through them. Clinging to past pain or trying to avoid it altogether only traps us in a perpetual winter. There is no spring without the fall, no renewal without first enduring the cold. And so while it may seem counterintuitive, embracing hardship is the first step toward overcoming it, finding meaning in the struggle. There is a temptation, when faced with suffering, to declare it meaningless. We ask, why me, or what's the point of all this pain? But hardship, when viewed through the right lens, can be a source of profound meaning. It is in our darkest moments that we often find the deepest truths about ourselves and the world around us. Struggle refines us, and through it, we learn who we truly are. Our strength, resilience, and character are not revealed when everything is going well, but in the moments when everything seems to be falling apart. It is not suffering itself that gives life meaning, but the way we respond to it. Pain on its own can be crushing, but when we decide to face it head on, to learn from it, and to grow through it, we begin to transform our suffering into something greater. This transformation is not easy, nor is it immediate. Often we must sit with our pain, endure it longer than we would like, before we can begin to see
Morning kiss, soft and sweet, a new day's bliss. Midnight bliss, underneath the moon, soft kiss. Hold me tight, in the dark you're my guiding light. Can't resist, in your arms everything feels right. In every touch my heart ignites it new. My love, there's no more fight. You are a star in the world, you're the brightest part, shining bright, illuminating every darkened night. In my heart, with you loves I work on all the night. In your embrace I take flight. In your light I find my way. Every moment I want to stay. Whisper close, soft secrets that only we know. Feel the glow, in your presence time moves slow. Touch my soul, your love's the fire that makes me whole. Let it shows, together let our true selves unfold. I'm who, every whisper all our story told. In your eyes, my heart's been sold. You are a star in the world, you're the brightest part, shining bright, illuminating every darkened night. In my heart, with you loves I work on all the night. In your embrace I take flight. Oh baby, with you every day feels right. In your love I find my light. Stay with me, let's dance under the moonlit sea. Just be free, in your arms I find my plea. In your light I find strength, I find my might. I believe in this love we're meant to be. Ooh, in your light my dreams take flight. With you everything feels right. You are a star in the world, you're the brightest part, shining bright, illuminating every darkened night. In my heart, with you loves I work on all the night. In your embrace I take flight. Heart, heart, no, together we shine so bright. In your love my heart's alight.
the lessons it is trying to teach us. Yet those lessons are invaluable. They cannot be learned in times of comfort and ease. We must not rush through our difficult seasons in a desperate attempt to escape them. Instead, we must allow ourselves the space to feel the full weight of our struggles, to sit with the discomfort, and to listen to what it has to say. In doing so, we can begin to extract meaning from even the most painful experiences. This meaning doesn't make the pain disappear, but it gives it purpose, and with purpose we can endure almost anything. The role of faith in difficult times. Faith, in its broadest sense, is the belief that there is something greater than ourselves, something beyond the current moment. It is the hope that, despite the darkness we may be facing, there is light somewhere ahead. In difficult seasons, faith becomes not just important, but essential. Without it, we are left to navigate our suffering alone, without any sense of direction or hope. But with faith, we can find the strength to keep going, even when the way forward is unclear. Faith is not the absence of doubt or fear. It is rather the decision to keep moving forward in spite of them. It is the choice to believe that there is more to life than what we can see in the present moment, and that the future holds possibilities we cannot yet imagine. Faith allows us to trust that our current hardships are not the end of the story, but rather a chapter in a much larger narrative. It gives us the courage to continue on, even when everything in us wants to give up. Difficult seasons test our faith in ways that easy times never could. They force us to confront the limits of our control and to acknowledge that there are forces at work in the world that are beyond our understanding. Yet in that acknowledgement we find a strange kind of peace. Faith does not promise that our suffering will end immediately, or even that it will end at all. But it does offer us the assurance that no matter what happens, we are not alone in our struggles. It is this assurance that allows us to persevere even in the face of overwhelming odds. Embracing vulnerability. In times of hardship, there is a tendency to build walls around ourselves to protect our hearts from further pain. We feel that if we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we will be hurt even more. Yet it is precisely in moments of vulnerability that we find true connection and healing. To be vulnerable is to be honest with ourselves and others about our pain, our fears, and our struggles. It is to admit that we do not have all the answers, that we are not as strong as we wish we were, and that we need help. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. It takes courage to let down our guard, to let others see us as we truly are, in all our brokenness. But in doing so, we open ourselves up to the possibility of healing. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we invite others into our pain, and in that shared experience we find comfort and support. We are reminded that we are not alone, and that there are people who care about us even in our darkest moments. Difficult seasons have a way of stripping away our illusions of control and independence. They force us to confront the reality that we cannot do it all on our own, and that we need others to help us through. By embracing vulnerability, we allow ourselves to receive the love and support that we so desperately need. We open ourselves up to the possibility of growth and transformation, even in the midst of our pain. For the strength of community. One of the greatest gifts we have during difficult seasons is the support of those around us. Community provides us with a sense of belonging, a reminder that we are not alone in our struggles. It is in the context of relationships that we find the strength to carry on, even when we feel we cannot take another step. Whether it is family, friends, or a broader community, the people in our lives are often the source of the resilience we need to endure. Difficult seasons have a way of isolating us, making us feel as though we are the only ones going through what we are experiencing. Yet the truth is, no one is immune to hardship. When we share our burdens with others, we find that many have walked a similar path, and their stories of survival can provide us with the hope we need to keep going. Community reminds us that we are not alone, and that together we can bear the weight of even the heaviest burdens. But community is not just about receiving support, it is also about giving it. In times of difficulty, we often find that even in our own pain, we have something to offer others. By reaching out to help those who are also struggling, we create a circle of support that lifts everyone involved. This mutual exchange of care and compassion strengthens the bonds of community and provides us with a sense of purpose, even in the midst of our suffering. The gift of patience. Patience is perhaps one of the hardest virtues to cultivate, especially during difficult seasons. When we are in pain, we want relief, and we want it now. But the process of healing and growth takes time, and it cannot be rushed. Patience requires us to sit with our discomfort, to endure the waiting, and to trust that, in time, things will get better. It is not a passive resignation to suffering, but an active choice to remain steadfast in the face of adversity. Difficult seasons often feel interminable, as though they will never end. But just as the seasons of nature change, so too do the seasons of our lives. Winter, no matter how long or harsh, is always followed by spring. But patience allows us to endure the winter, knowing that it will not last forever. It gives us the strength to keep going, even when we cannot yet see the light at the end of the tunnel. Patience is not just about waiting for things to get better, it is about learning to live well in the midst of hardship. It is about finding moments of peace and joy, even in the midst of our struggles. By practicing patience, we learn to let go of our need for immediate answers or solutions, and we begin to trust that, in time, everything will fall into place. With the power of perspective. In the midst of a difficult season, it is easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. Our pain and suffering can become all-consuming, blinding us to the broader context of our lives. Yet gaining perspective is one of the most powerful tools we have for enduring hardship. It allows us to step back from our immediate circumstances and see them in the context of our entire journey. Perspective reminds us that while our current struggles may be overwhelming, they are not the entirety of our story. Difficult seasons have a way of narrowing our focus, making it seem as though our pain is the only thing that matters. But when we take a step back, we begin to see that there is more to life than our present suffering. We see the blessings we still have, the relationships that support us, and the possibilities that lie ahead. Perspective gives us the strength to endure by reminding us that our current hardship is just one chapter in a much larger narrative. Perspective also allows us to see our suffering in the context of the human experience. We are not the first to endure hardship, nor will we be the last. By remembering that others have walked this path before us and have come out the other side, we gain the courage to keep going. We are reminded that difficult seasons, though painful, are a natural part of life and that they do not define us. They are simply a part of our journey, not the destination. The role of hope in healing. Hope is the belief that no matter how dark things may seem, there is always the possibility of light. It is the quiet assurance that even in our darkest moments, better days are ahead. In difficult seasons, hope becomes our lifeline, pulling us through when we feel we cannot go on. Without hope, we are left to face our suffering alone, with no sense of direction or purpose. But with hope, we can endure almost anything, because we know that our current circumstances are not the end of the story. Hope is not blind optimism, it is not the denial of reality. Rather, it is the belief that despite the difficulties we are facing, there is still good to be found, and that our suffering will not last forever. Hope gives us the strength to keep moving forward, even when we cannot see the way ahead. It reminds us that no matter how long or difficult the journey may be, there is always the possibility of redemption and renewal. Difficult seasons test our hope in ways that easy times never could. They force us to confront the limits of our control and to acknowledge that there are things in life that are beyond our understanding. Yet it is in these moments of uncertainty that hope becomes most powerful. It gives us the courage to keep going, even when the future is unclear, and in doing so, it allows us to move through our suffering rather than being crushed by it. The necessity of forgiveness. In times of hardship, it is easy to harbor resentment and bitterness, especially if we feel that our suffering is the result of someone else's actions. But holding on to anger only deepens our pain, preventing us from moving forward. Forgiveness, though difficult, is essential for healing. It allows us to let go of the past, to release the burden of resentment, and to make room for peace in our hearts. Forgiveness is not about excusing or condoning the actions that caused our pain. It is about freeing ourselves from the grip of anger and bitterness. It is an act of liberation both for ourselves and for those who have wronged us. By forgiving, we take control of our own healing rather than allowing our pain to control us. We acknowledge that, while we cannot change the past, we have the power to shape our future. Forgiveness is also about extending grace to ourselves. In times of hardship, we are often our own harshest critics, blaming ourselves for our pain or for not being strong enough to overcome it. that self-forgiveness is just as important as forgiving others. It allows us to release the weight of guilt and shame and to move forward with compassion and understanding for ourselves. The promise of renewal. Difficult seasons, though painful, are not without purpose. They strip away the non-essential, revealing what is truly important. And though it may not feel like it in the moment, these seasons are preparing us for renewal. Just as winter gives way to spring, so too do our difficult times give way to new growth and possibilities. The promise of renewal is not just a distant hope, but a reality that we can begin to experience even in the midst of our struggles. Renewal does not happen all at once. It is a gradual process, one that requires patience, faith, and perseverance. But if we are willing to endure the hardship, to embrace the lessons it has to teach us, and to trust that better days are ahead, we will begin to see the signs of renewal in our lives. These signs may be small at first, a moment of peace in the midst of chaos, a flicker of hope where there was once only despair, that they are the beginnings of something greater. The promise of renewal is not just about the end of our suffering, but about the transformation that takes place within us as a result of it. We are not the same people we were before the difficult season began, and that is a good thing. We have been refined, strengthened, deepened by our experiences, and though we may bear the scars of our struggles, those scars are a testament to our resilience and our capacity for growth. Difficult seasons are an inevitable part of life, but they are not without meaning. They refine us, teach us, and ultimately prepare us for renewal. In the midst of our struggles, we remember that no season lasts forever. Spring will come again, bringing with it new life and new possibilities. But in the meantime, we must embrace the lessons of hardship, finding meaning in the struggle, and trusting that in time we will emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient than we were before. Let us face these difficult seasons with courage, faith, and hope, knowing that we are not alone in our struggles and that better days are ahead. The promise of renewal is real, and it is waiting for us if we are willing to endure, to learn, and to grow, and to grow, and to grow, and to grow.